Hi everyone, this is Sharon. Before I start today's flip through, I just want to give a mention to Juanette of Juanette Design on Etsy for sending me this wonderful Happy Mail package. These are all items that she picked up on a recent trip to Italy, and you can bet that all of these items will make their way into my Italian travel journal that I am sharing with you today. So thank you so much, Juanette, and I will put a link to her shop down in the description of my video, because as I'm filming this, I know she still has some of these items in her shop, so you might want to check that out. I especially love this hemp string and some of these beautiful trims. I don't know if she has any of those left anymore, but you can check it out. This fabric is also from Italy, which is really gorgeous. So give her a check out, and I will be back with my flip through. I am back with my flip through of this beauty. I had to look back to see when I recorded that intro, and it was well over a month ago. So needless to say, it's been a busy October, both inside and outside my craft room. But I finally have this done. This is a journal that I made for Mary. It's a custom request. And Mary had requested a journal that had an old world Italian feel with some birds and botanicals and travel sort of mixed in between, and some scenery paintings. So that is just the kind of eclectic mix that I love to put into my journals. One of her requests also was a leather tie for the closure. So I made this leather closure from some leather fragments, actually, a belt and some other leather pieces that I had. And it just fits around there nicely. I could custom make it so it fit the journal. I tucked into that this folio that I made a little while back on a tutorial. I will link the tutorial for this down below, and I tucked some fun little surprises in there for Mary. The cover of the book is this beautiful old book from the late 1800s. It has this marbled and leather cover on the front, and the back is the same. And then the spine I created using some of that beautiful fabric I got from Juanette. And then I just added that little lace piece on the side there as well. It's quite a thick journal, about 2.5-inch spine, I would say. Heading on inside, as I usually do, I combine lots of different digital artists in my journals. I've got quite a few in here. I will list, I think, some of the main ones that I used, just to help you out so you know what makers I used. For the inside covers, for example, I used 2 beautiful images from Ida Jane Designs. So I've got this one on the front, and then on the back, I've got this one. And then for the inside of my spine, I again used some of that beautiful Italian fabric. And then one of the main kits I used is from Love Junk Journals, Tracy Fox, and it's these vivid floral images, and I absolutely love that kit. I knew I had to incorporate some of those into this journal when I started it. So that's what you see on this very first page. And then on there, I've got this little piece. I repurposed this little tie that I got from Rachel at Rexy Creations in one of her paper bundles. And it has this beautiful pink wax seal on there, and I thought that went pretty nicely with the pink flowers on that page. And I just wrapped that around this little piece, and it's made from a window envelope, kind of a little pocket sort of thing, a floating pocket. I just did some collaging on there. It's got another little tuck spot in the back of it. And then inside that, I just tucked a few pieces, an old Italian dictionary, this vintage photo, and then a piece of antique wallpaper. On this page, I took this fabric to create a top tuck. I added some of that trim that I got from Juanette on there. And then the background page is this beautiful image. And then in that pocket, I tucked this piece And then there's some writing room on the back. This is the title page from the cover that I used for this journal. It's dated 1898. And then on this page, I've got a page from a vintage book on Italian architecture. Here in the center of this first signature, I created an envelope. So I just made a couple of policy closures on there. And then I used, this is kind of like a cardstock weight. It was from an old calendar that I had. And I just love the image on there. It's a nice, I think, looks like Venice or some European country. And then I lined that and created kind of a gusset. And then in there, it leaves a lot of room to tuck a whole bunch of things. I embellished with a little bit of lace on there. On this page, in the pocket, I tucked a few things that I created. This little journaling card. And then this piece, and then a piece of vintage Italian typed paper. This page was created from one of the book pages. On this side of the page, I created a belly band with a piece of fabric, and I stitched that on. And then this little ribbon was like a bookmark from the original book that I used. And then I just added a little piece of lace on there. And behind there, I tucked in this journaling card. And then another journaling spot. Lots of places to write. Here I took a page from an old Italian book, and I just wrapped that book page around and did some decorative stitching on there, and that acts as a little tuck spot. And I had this map fragment tucked on this side. And then the back side again has a lot of nice journaling space. This page is a page from an embroidery book that I have, a French one, and I just added this little ribbon and lace for the tab at the top. Here on this page, I inserted a few little journaling cards, and I created a kind of like a triple pocket with these embroidery images. And then these are the pretty images that I put on the front of those. They're almost like tickets, but they're just little cutouts. And then I back them with some straw paper. And then in this top pocket, I have this journaling card that I made. This is a bird. I've got several of these birds in this journal. They come from a kit from Donna at Twisted Paper Studio. It's a kit she has on some kind of antique looking illustrations of birds. I just love that kit. And then I created this journaling card with this postcard image. I've got several of these also from the Graphics Fairy in here. Just some really nice old European looking postcards. And then the back of this page, I did some stenciling with paste. And then on this side of the page, I just added a piece of old lace. On this side of the page, I'll get rid of this shiny piece for a minute. I created a belly band with this beautiful piece of ribbon. I got this from my friend Suzi. She's got an Etsy shop called Mary Not Martha, and just absolutely beautiful velvet ribbons, all kinds of like lace applique pieces, tons of things on her website, and she sent me this. I just love it. And then in there, I tuck this beautiful postcard with the candelabra on there. And then I also have tucked in there this beautiful old piece of 1600s Italian document fragment. I just love to hold this in my hand and wonder who all touched this and what their lives were like when this was written. And then here I've got a botanical book page. On this page, I created this top tuck. One of my favorite combinations are these deep plums with green and gold. And then in there, I just made this journaling spot, created this kind of tab thing on the top and inserted a piece of lace and this beautiful tabletop image. And then again, some place to write on the back. In the center of this signature, I tucked this bookmark that I made from the spine of the book. It was quite crumbly. It wasn't salvageable at all, but I always like to make them into some type of a piece that I can stick into the journal. So I backed that with some book page and did some stenciling on there and just added a fabric tie at the top. And then in the center of the signature, I have this beautiful landscape. It's I believe it's an Italian landscape picture. And I just embellished with some lace and fabric at the top. And then on this side of the page, I clipped on this tag, again using one of those beautiful bird images from Donna. And then I just added some coffee dyed ledger paper on the back for writing. Here I created this kind of a tuck spot with some fabric. These again came from Suzi, and I just did a little bit of stamping on there. And then in there, I tucked some original European postcards. I think these are both French. Here I added this fabric ruffle and a little bit of lace on there. And then this page has this wax seal embellishment with some trim. And this I put on some crinkly, I think it's tracing paper. Here I took this postcard image and created a pocket, stitched that on. And then in there I created this journaling spot with a little bit of stenciling on the back, but still plenty of room to write. And then this is an old Italian book page that I used for that page. And then I created this little envelope with this kind of lacy hand stitching around the outside. And then I just tucked a few little journaling cards in there. I did a little stenciling on that page. Here I took an old music page to create this center signature. And then I embellished the pockets with some images and buttons. And then in there I tucked these little folios. And it was a while ago when I made them, so I don't even know what's inside. Let's both check. Okay, so I created a little side tuck here and made this little card to stick in there. Oh, it is a little kind of a little booklet type thing. That's what I did. I've got some images of Notre Dame in here. And that swings. And I just tied these up kind of like the old antique document style with a little bit on the top and the bottom of string. And then this booklet on this side is similar, just slightly different images in there, so I won't open that one up. Here I created a side tuck with this beautiful tapestry image. And then I have this image on the back. I believe this is one from Roxy Creations. And then in there I have this antique French letter from 1810, looks like. Oh no, I think it's 1866 actually. Just beautiful handwriting in there. And then I have this piece of antique ledger from 1906. Here I created a belly band at the top of this page with this scripty strip on there, and then I created this little journaling card, cut this frame out. On this page, where I hinged the two pages, because these are so large, I do have to hinge every single page because I can only fit one on a single piece of 8.5 by 11. So I punched out the part that comes around to hinge just to give it a little bit more interest on the page. And then this is a beautiful botanical image. And this is a beautiful, I think it's like a music book cover. That's from Ruby and Pearl. And then here on this side of the page, I've got this vintage envelope addressed to Miss Vera Hiller. I've got a number of envelopes for Vera. And this is one I've been hanging on to for a while because I am absolutely in love with the inside of that envelope. It's so pretty. And the original letter that was written is inside of there. And I just clipped that on with this doily image. So that's the outside, and I backed it with some coffee dyed paper so that can be used for writing. And just added some fabric onto my little clip there. Here I've got some antique ledger from 1898, and I just embossed the top of that. And then on this side of the page, I created a side tuck, added a couple of buttons and some washi tape to embellish the side of that. And then I've got this beautiful journaling card with this Italian lady. And I just created a pocket in the back and stuck a couple of papers in there. And then this centerpiece is printed on a heavier vellum. And I just love these tabletop images, these really old paintings from the 1700s and 1800s. And I just embellished that a little bit on this side of the page with some gold velvet ribbon and this crocheted piece. And then on this side, I've got another journal card with these beautiful Italian ladies. Some more stenciling on this side of the page. And then here I clipped, this is one of those kind of booklet envelope type things where the old photographs were in. And I just lined the inside of that with an old book page. And then this label on this side. And in there I tucked, this is just an absolutely wonderful postcard. I love this image on this side. But what makes it really special is the way they wrote on the back side. Look at this J for June, the 9 for 19, and the 4 for 1914. Absolutely gorgeous handwriting. And then I also tucked in there this little piece. Now this was a watercolor painting that I purchased when I was in Florence, Italy about 5 years ago. And it's been floating around here for quite a while, like I said, 5 years at least. And I've never used it, so I thought it's got to go into this Italian journal. And I think it says up here in her handwriting, the olive trees, I believe. And there's room to write on the back. And then on this side of the page, I clipped on another piece of beautiful old wallpaper that I just use as kind of a little folder for this journal card. And I put on, just kind of stapled on this little piece, and it's got this beautiful image again with a tabletop feast. Here I created a shallow little pocket, and in there I tucked this journaling card. And then I created this little envelope. This again I think is from Donna at Twisted Paper Studio, and then I just put in there an antique calling card. This is an old French document from 1876. Did some stamping at the top of that, and then another botanical book page. Here I created this pocket. This is a Roxy Creations label, but I just like the way it embellishes that page. And in there, I tucked this wonderful postcard image. Looks like these children at a train station. And then this is an original postcard from Nice. This is an Italian page, has a really nice onion skin feel to it. And then on this side of the page, I created this top, and they're kind of like oversized photo corners. At least that's what they look like to me. And then in there, I've got this Italian book page, and I just love it because it's got some handwriting on there and also on this side. And then in there, I tucked this little piece. It's got this little belt to it that acts as closure. And then on the inside, it's got this beautiful image. And then I just tucked a piece of coffee dyed ledger paper in there for writing. In the center of the signature, I created a couple of belly bands with this beautiful old antique lace. And then on this side, I've got this journaling card with some beautiful velvet ribbon from Suzi and some buttons on there. And then I stenciled this back side. And then this piece on this side, I took some vintage brass brads and laid this image over the top and also stenciled the back of that. Here I've got another pocket on the bottom, and then in there I tucked this wonderful old photo of these four ladies, and it even has their names written on the back, which I love. Lola, Bertha, Frances, and Etta. They kind of reminded me of some Italian women making a feast. They've got their produce in their boxes. I just embellished it a little bit with some texture paste. And then this is a French postcard. And this is a piece of that lovely old 1600s book page with the little wormholes in it from Rachel. I love the way those little holes look. It looks like my 16th inch punch all over the place. Here I just created this little cluster on the top with some crinkled seam binding and lace and fabric. I've also got a number of Roxy Creation images too that I've used on the pages. Here I created a double belly band, and in the first section I've got another one of these Graphics Fairy Venice postcard image. And then I created this rather large journal card, and I just embellished the outside edge with this tissue paper ruffle. Another couple of pages of Italian vintage paper. And then here I just have a top tuck with this pretty image. This is a music sheet that I used for the page. That's what it looks like on that side. I just turned it up for a real shallow pocket at the bottom. And then in there I have this old Italian book page again. And another postcard image, and I made this, created a tab with this ribbon, and that just pulls out. So there's writing room on both sides on that piano roll paper. Better clip this on. Here I just added some embossed paper to embellish the page. And then in the center of this signature, another beautiful old landscape image. This one is of the Italian countryside. I just added this trim piece for the tab at the top. And then in this pocket, I've got another European postcard image that I made into this journaling card. And then another really old, fragile piece of an Italian document from Rachel. On this side of the page, I made this top tuck with this lace piece. And in there, I created a passport. I've been wanting to do this for quite a while. And I found a kit from Evie at Bohemian Crafting. She's got one where with all kinds of pages in it. So that was really fun to put together. So I just created this little kind of a passport holder where I can tuck that in there. And then I had a lot of fun just putting this together, adding photos, lots of places to write in here. I add little fabric pieces. I imagine this person collecting things over time and just stapling them in there. Here I created a belly band with this beautiful trim image. And then in there I've got this little piece. I printed it on this really heavy kind of textured paper that I got from an old photo album. And the inside I just created some tucks and pockets to put things in. This is an old French piece from 1935 to 1940. And this is what the back looks like. Here I created a pocket with this linen piece, trimmed it up with some of that beautiful Italian ribbon, and just did some slow stitching on there. And then in that pocket, I've got this floating piece of Italian book page. And in there I tucked this journal card that I made from another one of these European postcards. This one looks like Switzerland. And then between these two signatures, I tucked this piece. It's a rather large map. I printed it on 2 pieces of paper and then I waxed it. And then I stitched the 2 pieces together, kind of like I imagined they would repair an old map back in 1790. So I put these kind of gauzy pieces along the edges of the 2, and then I hand stitched them together to form one large map. Here I created a top tuck with this Venice image, and then I embellished it with a little bit of old map fragments, a stamp, and then this is an antique calling card that I just clipped to the top of that. And then in there I've got a couple of journaling cards, this beautiful bird, and then this goes this way. This beautiful rose postcard image, and then I just added this little brad at the bottom with an M for Mary. This is some cabbage dyed paper, and I just created this little embellishment with some silk fabric. These 2 tabs on there. And then here on this page, I created a side tuck, and I backed that page with this vintage map. And then in there I've got this journal card. I just did some decorative stitching on some muslin and attached that. I love this image. Place to write on the back. And then I also added this antique wallpaper piece that can be used anywhere. Another one of the original book pages. And then in the center of the signature, I've got just some fun little button images on these strings. I reinforced that with some washi tape. And then I created these 2 pockets. They're actually envelopes, and I'll open those up in a minute. But behind those, I tucked some tags and journaling cards. On this side. And these are envelopes that fold out. And then inside there, I thought was just a fun little place to tuck some secret items and do some secret journaling. So I just put these doily images in there with places to write on the back. And this one. And then, oops. Oh, I gotta get it the right direction or it won't fit. Okay. I embellished this side of the page with these little watercolor swatches and this beautiful castle image. And then over here on this side of the map page, I clipped on this, a little kind of a document keeper that I made from a vintage envelope. And just embellished that a bit and tied it up with some string. And then on this side, it holds a number of pages, some room for writing. I don't know if you can see the back, it's got some stamping on there. Show you the page on there. Here I trimmed the top of this page with some sari trim. And then this is like an onion skin sheeted paper. I just put this pretty stamp on there. Another one of Tracy Fox's beautiful floral images. And on the very last page, I took one of Juanette's beautiful Italian papers and attached that. It's kind of an extra large tuck spot in there. And that completes our journal flip through for today. Thank you so much for joining me today. I know that was a little bit of a long one, but I appreciate you watching. And until next time, bye-bye.